Alright, hello everyone. It's the Rambler here. Back at it again. I've been gone a few weeks and then turns out a lot of YouTube mess has happened in my absence. And I got caught up. Well, caught up in terms of catching up to the information. Thank God I'm not in the drama. Again, why I don't show my face and stuff. But this is basically why I left these divestment spaces and level up spaces as well. Um, Here I explain it, but I noticed a lot of these spaces suddenly became a cash grab to use women who were misguided, and it really sucks that a lot of us were not properly raised by our parents. A lot of us just grew up. We weren't raised, and this goes for all races. By the way, I know all races listen to Level Up content. I've seen white women, Black women, Asian women of both East, South Asian, Southeast Asian descent, Middle Eastern, listening to the Level Up content. It has been a huge thing during quarantine, especially with this femininity movement. And I just want to talk about it. But it quickly become a cash grab for misguided girls because I've been doing my little research here and there, not totally thorough, but I did do some research, and a lot of these followers are women within my age group, within the 18 to 25 range. And it's scary to think that we really have to, like, a lot of us are parents and teachers much, so we have to depend on these women in these spaces who, to be honest, are use these platforms to trauma bond with each other about what their communities have done, how they've been treated, and it's like, where does the solution come? It's constant drama, constant. I left because there was like constant drama. There was always drama, always beef. The ladies were always competing with one another. They couldn't just work together. It was always a competition. Like one day it's like, oh, I support your content. Oh, you got more followers than me. I hate you. So it suddenly it stopped being about the followers and more so about those who led the channels, and it became a popularity contest, which is bad because the women could have collaborated and made this thing a real thing. Like, they could have been the godmothers of YouTube if they wanted. Like, they had the power, they had the education to do so if they worked together. But things that didn't work for me when I used to be in these spaces were, one, they always focus on the people who disagreed and were negative towards them. I never seen so much focus on people who are against you. It just never made sense. Like, they would have so many followers who are for them and saying, yes, I love your content, I'm rooting for you. And then all it would take is one comment with, like, what, 5 likes? And then they're like, okay, now I'm taking everything down. Everything sucks. Y'all don't get it. Peter paid for Paul and Paul paid for all types of stuff. Really taking away the things, taking away the information a lot of us needed, as girls who were growing up and not completely raised by our parents. Um, the second thing, like I said in the beginning, popularity contests. The ladies would have worked so much better if they worked together more, but now we got people making fun of wigs, making fun of accents, people robbing people going to jail. Like, where is the guidance? Like, y'all came on here claiming to provide guidance. Like, no one owes us guidance, don't get me wrong. If you came here and that's what your platform is about, stick to it and don't be messy. But they were messy. Another thing that bothered me about these level up girls, it was very This specifically for these black spaces, very anti-black. I joined some of these groups and I was told not to wear my natural hair because it would be considered ghetto. Mind you, the wigs they had on, not to insult these women in any way, but in no way you would have passed through and Stevie Wonder would not have noticed that was a wig. No way. Stevie Wonder could clock the wig. Ray Charles, rotten 6 feet under, could have clocked the wig. The walls and the hills that have eyes could have clocked the wig before you even glued it down. Wearing wigs that weren't our texture but saying this is what is good and then demonizing black hair was another reason why I left these spaces. There was a lot of anti-blackness. I could not sit with it, and it not only that, just the quickness a lot of these women had to use racial slurs that were used against us during the Jim Crow, segregation, and slavery era, and now using it on each other. It was disgusting to see. I've had some of these level up YouTubers, when I spoke to them, even politely, have called me the M word. The N word is very disgusting. Not only that, we look foolish. Okay, we looked foolish doing that. Because how you got people supporting your supporters are black women, and some of y'all don't even like blackness. Some of y'all don't even like black women. To be honest, if a shooting star were to come through, if Haley's Comet came with some wishes and did not come every 70, 74 to 75 years, came every year in like December, right before Christmas, a lot of y'all would have been running outside with Fatima's hair on your head, hoping it was yours. If y'all could have wished on a wishing star to look like somebody else but you, a lot of y'all would have done that. It was just very disgusting to behold and to hear black women talk about themselves in that way. Like, how you gonna hate yourself and expect people to like you as you are? You wanna be liked as a black woman, but then you hate your features. Some of y'all bleached. Not even for hyperpigmentation purposes, just to look pretty. Some of y'all change y'all features completely for men. I'm gonna shut up on that one. But like y'all wore all these things for men. Wore heels that gave you calluses and corns and bunions for so-called men. Change your voice and who you are for so-called men. And I'm not saying that you gotta be loud and braggadocious and rude. You know, got you don't have to be uncouth. However, some of y'all were just fake. And I'm gonna go to my next point. Another reason why I left these spaces is because y'all made everything about men. And I joined this thing hoping to learn how to dress and be myself and be the best version of myself after I've been beaten down as a child. You know, like mentally, physically, and emotionally. I was just looking for a place for solace. And even then, it's like a day can't go by without y'all making it about what men want and what men need. We live in a patriarchal society already. We hear that 24/7 what men want. You turn to a Cosmo article. What can you do for your man? Everything for your man. How to not make him cheat. How to do this. How to make it better in bed. New tricks to learn. And it's all dependent on the women. And it's gross. You know, and for them to continue to infiltrate that, it's like everything was based on men. Oh, wear heels, you look more professional to men. You look taller, they find that cute, but not too tall. You can't be taller than him. He'll be insecure. Don't be smart, but not too smart. Tell him he's right all the time. Laugh at his jokes. You know, and hate to say this, but like in this society too, that is really how you get men. I really hate it. Though, like, they have done studies on this, and they find that men, on average, don't like funny women. They like women who find them funny. So, Whatever. But when it became all about men, not only was it not inclusive to girls who were LGBTQ, like a lot of femmes must have had issues in these spaces. They were not inclusive at all. It was like femininity is an energy, but y'all made it very heterosexual, cisgender, inclusive, heterosexual, cisgender, exclusive. Not exclusive, my bad. You see, I'm out of words. I need to get my butt back in my classes. But y'all only made it centered on heteronormative normative stuff. And cisgender people not concerned the fact that other people will try to learn feminine energy from you. And that was just, it was just a mess. And they created doormats out of women. Like, I couldn't stay in some of these groups. It was very hard to. Seeing the amount of women who are dealing with men they don't like, lying to be around these men. And I don't know who told y'all men are stupid. I really don't get it. I really don't. Who started the slide? That's another video. I keep saying I'm gonna make all these videos. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Cause these TikTok girls, I'm gonna call them out too. Cause y'all added to this mess as well with the sugar baby stuff, thinking y'all could scam everybody cause you're cute. No, you can't. But some of y'all end up doing stuff outside of what you comfortable with men who, I've seen some girls do this with men who were predators, men who try to sexually assault them after they said, no, I don't want to have sex with you, trying to stay to get the bag and feminine and do what he asks of you. And all that. It's like a circle of y'all suffering and telling each other about how y'all suffering together, but y'all still gonna suffer together. Like, it just sounded like a bad sorority that should have been closed down in college, but they ain't never closed it down because of quote unquote tradition. That's what it sounded like. So I had to really leave those spaces. Now, as for divestment, that is another space I had to leave. Like, the minute I stepped, it was like that Simpson meme where, like, you walk in whistling and then you see what's there and you walk out whistling because it was a mess. Because a lot of the divestment came from a lot of self-hating women. And divestment, first of all, should have been pro-self. That should have been a pro-self movement. I don't know why they turned to divestment again, centering men. But instead of centering black men, y'all decentered black men. And y'all centered other races of men, putting them on a pedestal which they don't deserve. And it's clear a lot of these women did not go to PWIs because the stuff they say about these races of men, as someone who has gone to PWIs for like good chunk of my life, like half of my life, I can tell you the way y'all imagine other races to be is not what it is. Men are the same. Men are men are men. He just got a different hair texture, different skin tone, and a different eye color, but he gonna play you the same way. You have to use discernment for all of them. But I went into those spaces and I was, as someone who swirls and dates within my race as well, I just date openly. If I like you, I like you. I've been called all types of stuff. Again with the M word, cause ladies will get upset when I tell them, yo, the white man, Asian man, you trying to date, black man, all the same. They're all the same, and you should use discernment when you date them. Now everyone's talking about how to use discernment, but before y'all had these men on this pedestal. And I think the problem with both spaces is that y'all keep centering men in your lives. Learn to decenter men, please. Men decenter us all the time, especially those who listen to Patrice O'Neal. Decenter us all the time. We are not. A man could live his whole life unmarried, and his worth is not defined by him not having a ring. Now, some people may give him the side eye, like you 40 and on Tinder, you finna get the side eye. Especially if you never been married, you would get the side eye. But no one defines his worth. on whether or not he's married, whether or not he has kids. Not even if he a good father, man. We got a lot of bad fathers walking around that we revere so much just because we find them likable, you know. So it's crazy to me how, like, even in 2021, we still censor the opinions of the other sex and what they think about us and define our worth about it. Like, it's okay to consider their opinions. I'm a heterosexual woman now. Like, I know if I want to attract a man, I gotta consider some of their opinions, but I'm not gonna change my whole personality and define my self worth on their opinions. That's just sad, it's disgusting, and it's desperate. And let me say it less blunt than that because that sounded mean. um, but that is just, it's unnecessary. You have your whole life ahead of you to be somebody. In the short time you're here, and you making your priority a bunch of men. And I think that switch came on for me when one of the girls I knew back in school passed away. You know, like, it came as a life lesson to me because from my personal experience, not only that, like, I always wanted to leave, but I didn't know how to. I thought I would have nowhere to go. I wouldn't have a community. But one thing that really set off my trajectory into becoming pro self and abandoning the femininity people and the divestment people, even though I do listen to femininity content. Quick tangent here, but I would recommend Aisha K. Faines, God rest her soul, her femininity courses and stuff. Like, I know she passed away, but help her family get some coin. They gave birth to a gift. She has done a lot, and she lives on through her work. So please support Women Love Power. But outside of that, like, the switch came on for me when my classmate passed away, and we were in our early 20s, and it was when we were cool, and she passed away suddenly. She was supposed to hang out with the group that day, and that's when they got the call that she died from a long-term autoimmune disease she had that no one expected to flare up the day of. But when she passed away, like, what broke my heart was the fact that, like, at the young age of, like, 19, 20, her legacy was basically, like, her friends, they were cool, they loved her, but, like, one of the things they mentioned were the bad exes she had and how many bad men she dated. And I thought to myself, like, yo, if I were to die at my young age, I don't want that to be my legacy. I want it to be worth it. And I have to decenter men from these spaces and do my own thing. And this is just to encourage more women to, yo, decenter men out your life. Please, like y'all put them on this pedestal. Talk to them. I promise you they're gonna disappoint you. Okay? Talk to them. They finna disappoint you. Yeah, I'm going into my hood slang. It's late. But people gonna disappoint you. Stop having expectations for people. Let them show you who they are. And this goes for men, in order to not pedestalize them. They are not special. They are not definitive to your worth. You know? And a lot of these girls have to let that stuff go. Like, everything for a man. And this for a man and that. Like, you could do some stuff for a man. You heterosexual. You could do some stuff to attract a man, but don't make it your whole life. So yeah, that was me talking my stuff. You already know how it is. Stay rambling. Have a good night.